We are recording. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 33rd artist talk for this week. This one is a little bit special, actually, because with me, I don't have one great artist. I actually have three, whom were, I guess, a part of a collective together. And we actually had a show in New York. And part of the reasons why we're having this talk, I was like, people need to hear about this because like it's not a lot of times that artists decide, yo, fuck it, we're gonna have a show in New York, we're gonna make it ourselves, and then we actually do it. And so um with me today we have two artists that we've talked to before, Andreas and Blues, and also with us today is Finn, a great artist that I personally met when Andreas added me to the Making It collective, or I think we may have talked in spaces before, but
I was
yeah.
so confused. There was like another Anubis, and I got so confused.
Oh yeah,
I actually don't remember when we first really officially started talking.
I think it might have been like one of Dre's Twitter spaces where it was
Probably.
just, I think so.
Yeah,
But
which I
yeah,
may restart
you should.
sooner or later.
You should.
I
But
gotta talk to Dove, but Dove is incapacitated doing other things at the
yeah,
moment. But
Dove is.
anyways,
Yeah, please, guys, introduce yourselves.
I'm Finn. I'm Finn Barrett. I'm 24 years old, currently boiling away in New York City. Um, lived here for like the past year. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I mainly really have found a lot of new wiggle room and a new love for a medium within tattooing. But I also paint and do clothes and all sorts of stuff. But tattooing is like my number one passion at the moment.
Yeah. Yo, so we're gonna talk about your tattoos later in this talk. Oh, we're absolutely. Um,
For sure.
I guess I'm just gonna do the order because everybody's like, who goes first? Yo, Blues, you go second. Introduce
Yo,
yourself,
bro.
brother.
My name is Blues. I'm a 21-year-old artist. I live in New Mexico currently. Um, I mostly work with printmaking techniques and inks and stuff. And yeah, that's about it.
Hey, Mans is a men's full artist now. I think you're almost sold out on Foundation too, sir.
Almost.
Respect, respect. And then we have with us the great Andreas.
who?
I said the great. Oh, excuse me, the magician, the great magician,
Who?
Andreas.
What's up, bro? Um, yeah, I'm Andres Zighelboim. I'm an oil painter, um, surrealist, magical realist, magician, part-time gynecologist for funsies. And good friends with everyone here, thank God, which is what enables me to crack my voice like that and make stupid jokes at will.
Yo,
We love you,
well,
Trey.
yo, I'm just dying
Love
over
it
here.
too, guys.
Yeah, welcome everybody, welcome. I mean, this is great. I've been meaning to sort of get like an artist talk that's just more than one person I'm talking to. And then it just happened to coincide. I was like, yo, let's talk about the Making It show that we did. Cause I remember I woke up one day and I was like, hold on, there's a show happening in New York. And then next thing we know is like Finn is just hunting down places. They're hunting down like, yeah, I think you did all the work pretty much. I honestly, like, I think
Um,
everybody's in agreement, and then Blues and Andreas managed to help on the setup day because you guys were in New York, right?
yeah. Yeah. Like Blues Andreas really the two of you really helped. Obviously Subtle as well. And Subtle helped me with some of the like behind the scenes stuff. Um But yeah, I did not realize how much I was taking on, and I don't say that in a negative way. It was just a lot, and I learned a lot, which I'm extremely grateful for. But yeah, doing a group show with like 25 plus people and having like a one person on the ground to like really figure shit out was definitely daunting. But I'm super grateful to have been able to help and to pull this thing off somehow. And I still everyone was like, "Oh, couldn't do this without you, da da da." But like, I couldn't do it without all of these amazing, talented artists to have put a show together with. So it works both ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also Subtle is gonna join us in a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
sick.
The
yeah, no,
victor will arrive.
yeah. How was it? How was it on you guys' experience? Magician
Wonderful.
Man's what? Yeah. Well, like I
Magician
mean,
Man's 1 and 2.
this is true. This is true. With us, we have two artists.
Alpha and Omega.
This is
I don't know, Blues. You want to go first?
Yeah, man. My experience of the show, it was great. Setting up was definitely like a bitch. I didn't realize how hard it was to like get everything up on the walls and lights and just
Yeah.
all of the little shit that you don't really think about, like in the
Remember
beginning.
the magnetic screws?
Oh God,
magnetic
Standing up,
screws.
standing up
yes.
on the, standing
So
up
Figuring
on
it
the
was
out
it
ladder,
was
how things actually hold to the wall like 2 days
half-assing all
before.
those measurements. I was like, oh God, no. How's this gonna go?
yeah, so it was like it was a lot of beautiful and fun-filled trial and error, and it was amazing. I liked it. I loved I loved meeting all of the different artists that I've never really like had friends that I met through like any social media
Mm.
type shit or anything like that. And then like I don't know, the meetup was just fucking crazy, like seeing everybody in person and everyone is so fucking nice and talented and it was just such a positive like
And
group
Teji's
to
like
be around.
9 feet tall in
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Australia. What an
9 feet
experience that
Australian
was.
giant.
Yeah.
Giant
And
Australian man.
super charming and nice. Yeah. I
Learning all
agree
his
with that too.
slang, him talking about heaps of dead kangaroo.
Whenever you drive in Australia, there's just heaps of dead kangaroos on the side of the road.
Wait, did he? Is that? Did he actually say that? Is that
Yes,
a?
and he
Oh
was
my
like
Yeah,
being
god.
serious. He was like, "Yeah, it's basically just like regular roadkill, like you
Oh, okay.
know."
All right, that makes sense. But like,
they're
heaps
big
is
as
a.
shit though, dude. Heaps
I know.
is a
I was
lot.
like, how is this not like causing a bigger issue? Like, if you hit a deer in the US, like I guess the big difference is like they have horns. So it's like if one of those goes through your windshield, like you're fucked. Like
Yeah.
Yo,
you
I.
really die. But like, just heaps of kangaroo is no problem.
Oh my god. I mean, listen, that's free meat.
Just heaps and heaps.
Yo, with us also, Subtle has joined. Hello, hello.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Yes.
So
Welcome to the
Hey.
show.
Sorry, I just jumped in.
You're
No, it's
fine.
all
Okay,
good.
welcome.
We're really just getting started, don't worry.
Yeah, no,
Bless.
we have only been recording for 7 minutes. Indeed.
Yeah.
But
I think this is
Subtle.
my first time seeing you, Anu.
Talk about-
This is exciting.
Oh yeah. So for those who are curious, like the video is not being recorded, but we are talking to each other on video call.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, they're seeing my face. I'm sort of semi-doxed on the website. There's a picture of me with a mask on. Like I literally had to take in the bathroom. Like they hit me up, was like, "Yo, Anubis, can you take a picture of yourself?" I was like, "Can I keep the mask on?" It's like, "Yeah, yeah." I literally just went to the bathroom. I was like, "I
Are
need
you
a
guys getting
wall." Oh, I think Subtle's gonna like go talk to his dog. I think that was a dog. I don't. Hey. No, I mean, listen.
Never. Give it a big kiss and make it settle
Dude,
down.
when I used to have a dog when I was a kid, I did not take care of it, and so that's already given. I already just stated that, but the other thing is when we'd have people over, we'd put them away, and that motherfucker would bark like crazy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do that. You know what I've understood is like you're not, like there's this weird fantasy that like the kid's gonna take care of the dog. That's not happening, bro.
Yeah,
You're
no,
taking
no,
care.
it's never happened.
That dog is the adult's responsibility, and the kid gets to enjoy the dog.
This is true.
And that's
This
just
is,
how that goes.
This is
You have
true.
to be fucking committed. You're raising a tiny animal with intelligence and shit. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about this show.
Well, hey, let's let Subtle introduce himself.
Yes.
Hey guys, I'm Subtle Bubble. My name's Victor Perez. You can call me whatever you're comfortable with. I'm currently in Brazil in my grandma's house. Busy place, lots of people and sounds. It's like a 2-story house with like 2 other houses attached to it, so I have like hella cousins and aunts living here. That's why I kind of had to move. It's loud, a lot. But I've been doing this crypto thing about a year and some change now, but this art thing for a bit longer. So that's me.
Yo,
I don't know. I don't know.
I know. I'm so bad at this.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
intro.
listen, me too. I've fucked up my own intros and my own outros way too many times. Where I'm like, oh shit, what am I supposed to say? But hey, I mean, it's cool. You get to eat that grandma food. That's some good shit, bro.
I just said to eat that grandma. It
Hey,
almost cut
yo,
out there for like a
Yo.
minute. Whoa.
Nah.
hey,
The sad thing is my grandma
Got
used to make.
vaguely cannibalistic and strange,
It's
all
just
in one
like
sentence.
Red Robin Hood style. Like, grandma, what
Yeah,
big
bro.
ears you have?
Exactly.
Nah, I mean, my grandma used to make me banana cake when I would visit, but she's gotten to an age where she doesn't remember her own recipe, and like
Oh.
the family never jotted it down. So I'm like actually mad at because like it was like my cake. Like whenever I visited, she would only
I'm
make
sure-
it for so it went.
Maybe an
She went
educated guess.
making it. What?
Yeah,
Damn.
I mean, trial and error is a way.
Yeah, bro. That Alzheimer's is not a fun thing.
No.
Maybe even just try and like, obviously I don't know her condition or not, but maybe you could even just try making something similar to it and making it with her and see if like some of that jogs her memory and she remembers things.
That's actually a very good idea.
I was just gonna say, like, also you can just try it from like to try to make the same cake that you remember from taste, like yourself, right? It's one of those.
Like, it's just different the way she made it. She
Oh,
would
of
like
course.
caramelize bananas and like put it in the middle of the cake.
Yo,
It was like it was so good. And I have
Okay.
like this cousin who's a chef, so I might like egg her on to try to get my grandma back in the kitchen like that. But
Yeah, there's got to
it's
be
just-
a way that this can be somewhat either like remade or somewhat uncovered. There's got to be a way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yo, dude, that
Yeah.
sounds mad delicious.
Yeah,
Sounds too delicious to
Well,
lose.
I mean, y'all got to share
I've
a lot
been
of
good. I'm
what,
not gonna lie.
like,
I've been able to like eat well and for so cheap. Like I took my cousin and aunt out for like a full meal. Like we all just ate till we were full, and I paid like $20 in US dollars. But it's just because the money, just the conversion is so crazy. It's like yeah.
I mean, yo, it's
Sounds
great.
so sick, man.
I mean, you also, I'm kind of jealous because all you guys meeting in New York gave me fucking FOMO, bro.
Dude,
But also, y'all got to like enjoy New York cuisine together, which is kind of nice. I'm like,
honestly,
I
we
didn't.
only got together for like one, like, and not even all of us together, but like we only got together for like one real meal. There was so much to like do, and we finished so late, like every day, and everyone was trying to like go to different events and stuff that like we didn't have like a big family dinner together.
No, we didn't. I kept talking about it, and then it just never appeared. Which, yeah, I had like, I think New York was one of those moments where I was like, I needed a day in between for almost every part of that week. Of like, I needed a day to myself, and then come back in, and then dive in, dive out. But it was wonderful. The days that I was on the ground with everybody was amazing. It was I told everybody there, the show is literally across the street from the apartment building, 1 South First, that me and my girlfriend had always wanted to live in back when we were living in Bushwick and broke in Bushwick. And so it was really nice nod from the universe, because I didn't look up the address in Google Maps until I'd gotten there, of like, oh, it's on Kent. It's like, oh, where on Kent? And it's like, well, it's right across the street. So I was like, I get out, and I'm like, I get out of the Uber, and it's right there. And then the space itself was really beautiful. And for a warehouse show, like, warehouse shows have a tradition, and so it was a really great like warehouse. It was just a matter of, and with a huge skylight, it was just a matter of figuring out where everything went. It was great.
Yeah,
there
there's
was
like
a skylight.
Well too. The little like skylight just was so nice with the little plants around too. It was vibey, and the fact that it was a warehouse, but it wasn't like I didn't fear tetanus at any point, you know? Like I didn't.
You probably low-key should have, to be real, but it's good that you didn't have that fear in you.
Yeah, I have to agree with that sentiment.
I think
it was pretty rusty in places.
I'm pretty like Finn. You were the one that found the venue, no?
Yeah, so I basically was just mutuals with this person on Twitter, and it was so funny. Like, I don't even know if he knows this or not, but it was like we were mutuals, and like we would like each other's stuff back and forth, whatever. Like, never had like a conversation really. Just liked each other's work, and then there was a day where I like out loud said, because like I could tell from his like bio and stuff, you know, he was out in New York. And there was just this one day where he had liked something of mine, and out loud to my partner, I was like, "When the fuck is this dude gonna hit me up? Like, I feel like we have to like link or sometime in real life, you know?" And then that night, he messaged me and was like, "Yo, we should get together and draw and like hang out if you're down." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" So some time went by. I actually was going on like a trip that week or whatever, but I got back from that and then I was like, "Hey, what are you up to?" And he was like, "I'm building out this venue. If you want to come by, I'm gonna be here like all day." And I was like, "I'll help you, you know, like for sure. Like let me come and do whatever you need." So we met and like started conversing really over painting bathroom walls in this venue space. Um, and he was just telling me, you know, like kind of what the deal was with this space and like that and like how he came into it and like, you know, just trying to rent it as much as possible for as long as possible because they don't have this space like it's an interesting predicament and I don't really want to get into all of it, but like basically they just don't have a space for a long like secure amount of time. So he was like, I'm just trying to do as much as I can for as long as I can in this space, you know. So if you know anyone that you want to rent this out to or whatever, da da da, musicians, whatever, you know, I was like, oh, I think I have some people in mind. I think I'm in a group chat with like 50 artists that are always all trying to do like a group show of some sorts that could definitely fill up this space. So yeah, like immediately I just asked him, you know, I was like, is it okay if I take pictures? And sent it into the group and was like, I think that we could do a group show here. And like that was like 2 months prior or something, maybe even like 3 months or so prior to actually doing it. But yeah, it was just a happenstance of like just perfect timing and just like you know meeting the right person at the right time.
I mean, and it turned out great too, because essentially, like, you come, like, you find the place, and then I think it was Tej talked to Addict, then talked to you, and you guys got a whole Genos like
Dude,
multi-sig
Keji
setup.
is like the man for that shit. Like I have no idea what any of that shit is. Like I'm just a guy. I'm just drawing some stuff and like tattooing people. I don't even have a fucking iPad. Like I don't know a lot of the back ends of all this tech shit. And Teji is just like, oh, it's so simple. Like hold on, I just gotta move this heap of dead kangaroos out of the way, and then I'll set it all up. You know, so like he's really always on it and he gets shit done so quick too and I'm just like damn like I don't even know what the fuck you just did like that's sick like let's go.
You know, it was wild to see, right? Like, it was wild to see, because like then Tejka's like, yo, all right, everybody send 1 ETH, we'll send you guys out the cards. And so, like, for those who are listening, like, we were sort of in a collective, so now we have like a membership card that we established. But the cool thing about the space is if you establish a multi-sig account, right, which is an account that requires multiple signatures from different wallets to move and receive ETH and NFTs, you sort of can become a collective who uses funds to create shows. And so Teji set that up, right? All of us sent some money. Those who could essentially send some money to that account to ensure that we had enough to pay for the venue. And then Finn essentially was like, yeah, all right, it's done, paid. Let's go set this fucking thing up. And then next thing we know,
Right.
Finn, Blues, Subtle, and Dre are helping set up. How was that? I'm really curious about that because you somebody mentioned
Well,
magnetic fucking screws. I was like, hold on,
So
yeah.
basically like that didn't even happen like that wound up not even working because the prints were too big and too heavy like the paper was really nice quality so they were just way heavier like I did a test with like a print prior that wound up like not being used or whatever ordered from a different place
Mhm,
and it worked for those and I
mhm.
have a friend who actually told me you know like oh I've done this with like pretty big prints like it works you know but I think the paper was just like too thick or something but like
I see.
essentially you get some like concrete they had to be enough they had to be concrete screws to drill into like these like industrial like warehouse walls and then I made sure that they were also magnetic because ideally I wanted it to be like you know you screw it in the wall
Mhm.
stick one magnet on one side and then like sandwich the print in between another magnet on the other keep it really
Okay.
simple and it was like actually a moment of pure fear and panic when we were trying to do it and they were just like slipping through. I was like, um, okay, this was like the whole way I was gonna show all these things. So like, what the fuck? But yeah, and then Dre was just like, just get sticky tack, like it's gonna work, don't worry. And I was like, okay, right, somebody go get sticky tack, and I'm just gonna like sit here and like freak the fuck out a little bit.
Yeah, just panic.
Yeah, and then luckily that shit worked, and like we had set up like a decent amount of them, or at least I don't even remember. Like the first day we set up maybe like a decent amount or something, and then finished the rest the next day or some shit. I don't remember, but I just remember like fully expecting to walk in the next day and like seeing a bunch of like fucking prints, expensive ass prints, just like on
So
the
on the floor.
ground, like falling in the nighttime or something. Like I was really bracing myself for that moment, and that didn't happen.
I'm
So
so
that was
glad that didn't happen.
No, I
but
mean,
Yeah, me too.
I was really mentally preparing myself for that. I was like, okay, and just don't explode into a million pieces if you come into this warehouse and like some shit's a little
Really
fucked
just
up.
spontaneously light on fire.
Yeah.
well, I mean, it looked like a
Yeah.
lot. I as a person who's been told about warehouse shows, in passing, I was like, well, I mean, what I could never envision it. And then you guys sent pictures, and I see also you guys got the lights on top too, which is like a very nice touch. I was like, oh shit. And then I also see the pictures of like blues on a fucking staircase or like a ladder, something like that. It was like a fucking beanie on or something. I was like, yo,
I was
working.
working, bro. We
No,
were working.
for like
Bro,
2-3 days straight, I was like, y'all need to come in here
yeah.
and help me. Like this is not gonna happen alone. Like we're gonna be in a situation if it's just me doing this shit. So again, I'm really, really grateful for y'all coming in and helping.
Duh.
Soto literally came in on his goddamn birthday. I was like, bro.
Wait, Subtle, what were you doing on your birthday?
Oh
I'm
man,
curious.
I helped for a full day before I checked into my hotel. If that gives you an idea
Yeah,
of how
Damn,
hands-on.
suitcases and everything before.
before your
Yeah,
holy
so it's
shit.
like we provided the art, but we also put it together. Like there wasn't a producer other than us trying on these hats as producers. So like when Finn threw in that chat or like threw in the picture in the chat of the venue and even threw the possibility of us having the show, that's when I was like my eyes just glistened and I was like, okay, this is the opportunity. And like at that moment, I wasn't loaded or anything. I still am not, but I was like, yo, like let's not even worry about money. Let's just make this happen. So
Yeah.
to go back towards like the membership card, I think that was like a really cool way to like not even reward but just like do a little extra because regardless of the fact, like regardless of how we were going to manage this, it was going to have to be a group effort and we would have to have different people contributing to the wallet. So to use this moment as a way of like, all right, you're contributing to the wallet, you're contributing art to the show, obviously you're invested in making it, let's send you the making it members pass, and then open the side chain of like supporters pass for the people that see the show and see what we're doing and want to support us as a group, but they're not artists themselves. So um man, like my experience of like getting there, I hadn't been on a show like that before, first off, and I think I handled mostly just like the info cards, and
Oh, okay.
where I think that was exciting to me was just being able to push it forward by like 5%, into the future, where I was able to put like the name of the artist, name of the piece, and then the date it was
Oh,
minted. And I
well,
feel like that's not something we see in
that's not.
shows in the past.
That's really not, and it's like it's good for those listening because a lot of people can sit there and like think of hosting a show, and then when it comes to making a show, they don't think of stuff like that, right? Or it's the little things also that
Yeah,
come
and
together that make a show, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Like all these little
the
details.
details, the way
Oh
that
yeah.
No, go
even
on.
like
You're gonna say like the
Finn
same thing
came
as
in
me.
with the light. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say like it's the matter of details, and like when Finn brought into picture the lights, I think that pushed it even like way further. Like having each print with its own light, like really made it an individual moment that people could
I
stand in
see.
front of. So like really like I helped on the parts of the info cards, but when it came to layout and even just how the show was organized. Like big hats off to Finn for being on the ground and running that shit, and then
Yep.
also big hats off to Andres for organizing the order of the prints
That's what I was
because
gonna say.
that like really
Wait, was
flowed
that?
nicely into one another.
So that was
Yeah.
that was you, sir.
Yeah.
Some of it at least. The prints I did because we had them Finn had made an order. I noticed something within that within the preview of having all the works up that there were works that suited each other in a group just based off of color alone and palette, and there were some that did not, and then there were others that could groups that could flow into one another. And so it was like, how can I make this flow visually and also maintain, because we have some very powerful, very strong works in red. Where does red go? Which is something that I always think about. And I have to say, yeah, the lighting, like in my mind, different spaces. I've worked as a preparator and as a in galleries, and I've worked packing works and art handling. So there, and hanging stuff. So for me, there's always a solution, and every space is a different solution. And this space happened to be concrete, drilling into concrete, figuring out where things would go, right? And also not having works on paper that aren't necessarily like hanging they weren't hanging ready in a sense that like they were in my mind, if this were a white wall gallery, it would have been frames, wire, the whole thing. We would have all been up at least had them either prepped ahead of time, or would have been all up late prepping them and then putting them just on a regular wall. But no, this is cement, it's paper. The prints, we got the prints, and they came out fantastic, but they already had these beautiful white boundaries also on top of them. And so it was some trial and error stuff, but by the time that they were up, the lighting system, the individual lighting system, made them look so good, and the intimacy of the and interesting nature of the space, and it's in the canon of art spaces like that, like the warehouse show made the show really, really, really beautiful. As far as prep goes, like, yeah, that was fantastic and amazing, and I wouldn't have it any other way other than give us more money, bitches. Like, come on, like we can like, you know what I mean? It's like, damn, like sponsor us, you fucks, you fucking digital art, like having screen people, like just put us up,
Sure.
Apple, somebody get the
having
dev.
people crazy comment though. That's
Yeah.
like the great. That's a
Wait,
good
how
thing,
many
like,
people
I think that's something we haven't touched on, is the fact that we didn't use screens like
Oh, that's
these
true.
normal
No.
NFT
No.
shows have been using. And
But it's funny.
yeah,
We could have gotten away with it, having been to a couple now of events that are good here in London. In New York, there were a few. I've noticed that the commonality is that showing art now in a space like how we showed it kind of in an in-between way of in between what a traditional gallery would have shown with physical works, right? Traditional art world of warehouse shows, and also where the crypto art sphere is going. And the crypto art sphere is going in a very particular direction, where what I thought the obvious answer was, just give me a white wall and a screen with a frame around it, was what I thought was the future. And then I went to a couple of shows and I've realized, no, it's a dimly lit room. The screens are bright. The music is at a manageable level. Maybe there's a dance room to the side, and like a little rave room to the side, because that seems to be part and parcel at the moment. But like, we had a great space, and because the place was dark, because the lights worked the way that they did, each work felt like it had its own space and its own respect due to it, and I thought that was really wonderful. Again, give us money, bitches. Like, damn, like sponsor us, like Mocha, Vertical Crypto, everybody involved with the actual like other stuff, like, damn, I would love that. Like, this was us out of pocket, right? Everyone committed some money to it, and some people committed money for other artists in the group so that we could have this spot for a day or two. Imagine what we could do with a week or a month and events planned and stuff. Like, it just made me look at everything, and I just went like, the spirit is willing, the flesh is strong, and it's just like give me sponsorship, give us all sponsorship for our events, because the group is
like,
filled with amazing people. Like,
and not only that, is like, we're gonna use that money properly. Like, with just our low funding, we were able to get everything we needed and still set up a vibe. So like, if we had money to actually like stretch out our arms, I'm sure we would use it wisely. Like,
it wasn't far off from Proof of People here in London. It really wasn't far off. Like, it was very funny. We had and it was funny because it's like, it's the one that I went to was like that, you know how we had a really amazing vibe, and the people that came by were amazing and unexpected, and like it was people peeking in and wondering what we're doing in the heart of Williamsburg of all places, like in the heart of the historically artsiest area of Brooklyn, and in New York even, like we had a whole like drawing area, like we had this whole thing where people could get creative and intimate with one another, and it
That's
was just
true.
really beautiful. Yeah, I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They had something like that at Proof of People, like, and it's just like, wow, like we
Wait,
went intuitively
did
and
you
did
grab
something amazing that went close.
did you grab a poem at Proof of People? Tell me
Grab
you
a
grabbed
what?
a poem. Like they had a generative poem at Proof of People. Did you
Oh
grab it?
no, I didn't
Ah,
grab the poem.
bro, you
No,
missed it. It was kind of
I
cool. It was like a sick
I have
little
not
thing
been
in your.
myself
Yo, Finn, you would
in
have
like a
liked this
couple
too.
until today.
If you were in London, like it's like essentially a poem printed on a receipt, like a
Oh my
generative
god,
poem.
that's
I was like,
fucking.
oh shit. It was great, and then also blues. Like because I know blues also helped with some of the prints because you have printers at home, right? Or you
I didn't help
no?
with none of the prints, bro. We used all of the big prints that we got
I
from.
see.
I'm forgetting the name of the print shop right
That was like if we were gonna have like some last minute sort of thing. I think we
I
were like
see.
figuring out what to do with the prints because there was like a little bit of trial and error with that as well. But luckily, we found like a really, really great place locally. I honestly
Mhm.
want to even shout them out in this because like they did a great job and their turnaround time was so fast for like
Yeah.
25 prints. And they're just really
Right. Plug them in.
it's like a small independent print shop. It seems like I know one of the dudes is like just became a dad, so I'm like, yeah, I'd rather give you my money
Nice.
than like Staples or something, you know. Let me find it really quick.
now. They came out amazing.
Yeah, they
It was
look so
really,
good.
really
Yeah.
good.
You know, and
Um, yeah, their company is called Print by Designs.
mhm.
Located in Red Hook, New York. They did great work. The prints came out absolutely gorgeous. And they were just wonderful people. So, Print by
Yeah,
Designs LLC on Instagram, all one word, no underscores or whatever. But yeah, super, super wonderful people. Great work.
yeah. Those prints look fucking amazing. Like I saw the picture that Blue sent me, and I was like, "Hey, yo, that's kind of fucking nice. That's very
Yeah.
nice with the lights and everything." I was like, "Hey, we made
Mhm.
it to New York."
Yeah.
You know.
And I like to even like dive into this a little deeper, like when we were starting the show, I kind of like I've been anti screens for a minute, so like I was
Hmm.
seeing it as like projectors because I always thought projectors were more versatile. But then like Alex introduced the idea of us going towards large prints, and although it served as a hassle, I think not a hassle, but it served as some obstacles to overcome. Like I think doing so really did help us reach that in between level, which Andre kind of alluded towards, of like we're kind of in between traditional galleries, kind of in between in between crypto galleries. But by having these prints of our digital work, I think it really like highlighted the tangible nature of it, and that like, yes, these are digital files, but these are pieces of art. And I think
True.
just by standing in front of it, people were able to feel that.
Well, I mean, it also just shuts up the whole "Hey, what's your utility?" argument. It's like
Oh,
that's my
but that's
Right.
utility, bro.
no one's gonna ask you that again.
This is hey, listen,
Yeah,
yo,
make
we
No
function
one's
in a
gonna go to our
space.
gallery and be like, "This Damien Hirst, what's the utility?" Right when they're at like the Tate.
Yo, could you imagine
can
like
you
But
pop this balloon,
it's like
dog?
like
What's the
yeah,
yeah,
utility?
what's the utility
Jeff
behind this
Koons, right? What's
piece?
the utility? The utility is that you'll be able to sell it and resell it pretty quickly in a corrupt market. But um, the 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 question I have, guys, is like, you know, the question is, um, for the next one, with the lessons learned from this show, what would you guys like to do? Let's say uh we had everything covered, right? Let's say you had
Mhm.
access to the latest in the crypto art technology. What would you guys do?
I'm still really personally against screens. Like I don't know, there's
I
Word.
something
Same.
about it that I don't unless you're doing like a really well thought out digital installation and it's like the screens truly do bring something to the table with it besides just
mhm.
a mode of displaying. Like I'm not interested in it. I don't know why. Like, even though it's
Yeah.
like, it's not like the prints themselves had like texture or whatever, you know what I mean? Where it's like a painting, like an original piece. But like,
Or
there's just
drawing, for that matter.
more, I don't know. It feels more tangible to me in a way. I just like it
Yeah.
better. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, and again, this could be said of having the same issue with prints, but it's like screen display, like having the settings right so it's not messing up the colors, all
Yeah.
this, that, whatever. Like, and just the fact that like there's pixels involved at all. Like when you get close and it's like, is this really a part of the work, or like is this, you know, there's just something
Yeah.
about it that takes me out of it personally.
And
Yeah.
also, like, to me, it just makes me think, like, if that's how it's gonna be displayed, like, can't we just see that at home too? Like, I don't know.
See,
It's-
I disagree. Having gone now to two of them that are great, and I think that
Well-
you're right, because I would rather see if it's a painting, I want to see
Mhm.
that painting in real
Yeah.
life. I think what is kind of cool is that if you are like me, where like lately it's lots of small work, there's something about seeing a small work blown up massively. If you have a great photograph of it, no
Mhm.
pixels, right? But I do
really
agree. It's like,
like we
It's-
we had a projector room, you know, like it wasn't all just physical prints. We had a
no, I know.
I'm
And
not.
yeah, I was just saying I agree, because like I presented like some of the receipt works and like some of the little tickets and stuff like really big on the projector, and that was awesome. I was like, I love that this piece in real life is like the size of my hand, and now it's like bigger than a human being. Like it was definitely really
Maybe
fun.
both. Maybe both is the
Well,
move. Maybe
so-
both is the move for that situation. I think
That's
that
what-
makes a lot of
Yeah, I think-
sense.
I think projectors are just overlooked in this space.
are.
Like, there's some good, like maybe the one we used isn't necessarily the best in the market, but it like was able to adapt the ratio for each image we're displaying. Like that's
Is-
screens don't do that. Like the worst, like what you're gonna get is like some black bars on the side
Yep.
of the screen.
Yeah. No,
and then
I'll
like
give you
the
that
bare
for
image
sure.
in the middle. And
Well,
that just looks
it's-
awkward.
I
Unless
think-
the image is actually a landscape. Like
Yeah.
I think the solution is like some works they can work
Hologram.
on like holograms. I've actually done a hologram in university, so like it's a
Okay.
bit. Blues, you're looking at me like I have fucking two heads, bro.
For real. You're like, oh, I've already done a
You did a
hologram.
hologram?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
dude,
just
it's
said
like
that's so casual.
Bro, I'm about to, can I commission you for a hologram real quick?
it's. I
That'd
mean,
be so
it's
sick.
you need four sheets of plexiglass and a screen catcher. That's it. That's all you need.
That's
And
not shit.
dude, yeah. Well, I mean, like so a screen catcher is just a mesh that catches projection, and so then you get a pyramid essentially. There's some math required. I fucked it up. I asked somebody to do it for me, and then you essentially, what is it? Once you take the pyramid, then you slice off the top, invert it, and then you levitate that, right? You put it on some form of surface, right? Then it can be hanging in the space, and then the screen catcher is right under it, and then the projector is just pointing under, and so the light gets caught on the screen catcher, and then the plexiglass displays it internally, and you just need to make a
I get it.
cube of your
Okay,
video.
so for Andre's question, I want that. I want that at the next show.
Yeah. No,
I want
I'm
some
with it.
holograms of like feta models spinning.
Yo, that would
and,
be
like-
sick as fuck.
There's
I
also
agree.
like,
Like
I would
What is it?
be. It would be so cool if we could get in. It would be so cool if we could get into fuck, what's it called? Projection mapping.
yeah.
So fucking
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
Like
Actually,
I think for
it
if
was-
we had unlimited money and like we're throwing another show, we have everything fucking covered. I would do like a separation of things, you know? Like we should have a place to display physical artwork, but then I think there should be another immersive experience, like in another room maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to be able to transition between the two and not be forced to look at both at the same time. You know what I mean? Because it's very different. So I think like I would have different rooms for different shit, you know.
Yeah. No, that
And
makes sense.
right.
projection mapping is so
Well,
fucking cool, and
It is.
that would be
I agree.
amazing if we could do like an immersive experience with different projectors and stuff like that. That would be awesome.
Actually, the dude who
Right.
runs the venue space that we just used, like a couple, like the week of, he was like, "Oh, I know someone who does like projection mapping. If y'all are interested," and I was like,
Yo,
"Bang."
okay, all right.
I was like, I have
Wow.
no
sign.
fucking idea like what like that really
Yeah.
entails, and it's like a week till like I cannot even
And
think.
stress was already there.
Yeah,
It's I sort
Like
of
that was
I mean
a
it is
pivoting
doable.
moment.
It's doable. It's absolutely doable, and
yeah,
it's like the cool thing about it is like the program that does it is available for free.
damn.
We
Yeah,
just need the Teji of projection
that's
mapping.
facts. That's facts. We need
The
a nine
Teji of
foot.
We need to
projection.
find him
Yeah, we'll just get a
or
9 foot
her.
electronic man's, bro. That's it. 9 foot electronic man's who
Honestly, I
just
think if there's a big takeaway from the show is that they're which is also like the kind of theme we were starting off of. Like our jumping off point was like a teacherless classroom, and I feel like a big takeaway from the show is that like there's always someone that knows that one thing that you're trying to do, and especially in a group of 50. Like
Yeah,
I
This is
think
true.
that we will eventually get this Teji of projection mapping, and when we do, I will kiss their feet or whatever it
Oh,
takes to
they're
get them.
oddly
It's like,
specific on that one.
no, wait, no, I just meant like, hey, yo, chill. I
Hey,
just meant
yeah.
some biblical kind of worship. Like, I'll wash your feet with perfume, bro. Like, chill. Like, get this whole room filled with our art.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
when Ant and Blues dropped that collab, like,
Wait,
I'm gonna need
what
that projection
collab?
map.
Hold
Yeah, I
on,
always bring it up.
Blues. You
So
got a
I
collab
met
with
up.
Ant?
So it's in the works, man. We're gonna be working on it. But we've done a collab in the past. We've worked on shit together, and so I met Ant in New
Yo,
York. He came to the show, and he is so fucking professional. He pulled out his whole portfolio with everything in it. All of these original canvas works. And
he was
he
like,
had all of his every single frame from all of his animations and everything was in this book, like laid out. It was amazing. And I was
he was
flipping
like,
through it.
like take it apart, like feel the like you want to look at this one here, like you can check under this. I
Such
was
a
like,
cool guy.
be so anxious about anyone touching this shit. Like I can't believe
Yeah.
this is all your work. Like this is fucking
yo,
insane.
dude, I would never go carrying that. Like, hey, no, you would never catch.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
Yeah. So he
bro,
was
everyone's got different levels
this
of,
is true.
I don't
This,
know, connection, I think, because like, on the other page we had taking down the show trying to contact Stax about his originals, and he's just like, oh, I'm headed towards the airport. It was like, all right, buddy, like, did you get that back to him? Or like, what ended up happening?
I still have them. You just reminded me. I need like they're literally like behind me over there. I have like all the prints still too, except for the ones that you took, and I need to like figure it out. I'm just in the middle of moving as well, and I'm like just so like
That's
spread
really
thin right now.
cool, yeah.
Like, oh, like
you
need to
low
get this
key.
out
Do
of
you
my.
have other connections in New York you could maybe drop it off of if like it comes to
I
the day where you're moving and shit?
I could give them to Elijah. I just would hate to like pass off the burden to someone else. I could definitely like probably do like a decent amount of them and then just like pass them off. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I think you should just start a very cool personal gallery.
I see. I was gonna say, like,
That's what
Finn.
Homing Chijoving is doing. He's hanging it up in his apartment, like the ones I brought to him. So
Well,
he's
see,
gonna have like the most making it decked out apartment in the world.
this is true.
unless I decide to keep them all, baby.
See, what I was gonna say,
Seriously.
yo, that's an art heist. Like, Finn just got like one of one editions of like one of one print
just see,
editions
like-
of our works. Like,
Fingan leaves the chat and everything. Like I sign out of everything everywhere. I'm just done, and then I'm like,
hey,
me-
You could just hold it indefinitely. It's chill.
true.
hey, before
I
y'all leave, can y'all sign these prints real quick?
real fast, just because like I just want to make sure, just for
I remember.
Names, I can associate it with who's who. Yeah.
No, I
good
mean,
luck.
To
I-
keep them
signing
keep them safe, by the way, if you want to be extra careful, since I know you're moving, and I'm sure there's a lot of bullshit.
Mhm.
Get a tube, FedEx, especially if you call ahead, you could tell whether they have FedEx and UPS have mailing tubes. That's how I handle paperwork.
Yeah,
And it's the best thing to do is to roll them up, stick them in the tube, or even cut tubes in half or whatever, so that
Right,
and you can put multiple in the same. That way they don't get folded or touched, and it'll save you a lot of headache
Yeah.
and potential heartache.
I
Since
luckily
now you're a huge art collector of apparently at least these amazing stacks work. I mean, shit, like kind of wanted some of those spreads.
I know.
as
Well,
a
I have
side
the
note,
originals. I have the originals. He left them at the
Hey,
show, and I was like, dude, what am I supposed to do with this? And he was like, oh, I'm going to the airport. And I was like, what? But
yo,
yeah, I
keep
still have
the.
those. Those will be easy to ship. They were little, but the big print is really cool.
I
Yeah, just trying
would.
to figure
Where's
out.
Stacks based off of anyway?
Huh?
Where's Stacks based out of?
I
I
think
always forget.
LA or Arizona
Oh,
or
well then,
something.
yeah.
Can't
See,
California,
remember.
I think somewhere.
yo, I would
Yeah.
just work out a deal and be like, yo, Stacks, I'm keeping these. Sorry. If
It's
you need
just with
a,
moving, I'm just like so stressed about it getting like messed up or something. And like, I would rather everyone, because everyone paid for their own prints. Like, if you want your print, like, there's got to be a way to get it to you. You know, I've just been kind of like slacking and dealing with other stuff. But I definitely need to get that out of my hands before I like
And are you moving
move.
to LA or are you moving
I'm
to a
moving to
different place
LA.
New
Yeah,
York City?
I'm
Wow,
moving back.
nice.
okay.
Yo, at least you
Stacks
don't
will
have
get
to.
there.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good move.
for
As
those
long
who
as
are,
it skips fire season.
for those who are listening, Finn has sent multiple pictures of his New York rat hunting and adventures, which are kind of
For
wild.
anyone listening, look into bird mites before you move here. Like really, really
What the fuck's a
mentally
bird
picture
mite?
yourself. Exactly. Mentally picture yourself like murdering 5 rats. Like if you can't even imagine that, don't do it. And also unless you're like rich as fuck, like probably don't do it
What
because
the?
I agree with this. I agree with this vision of New York having also run screaming out of New York to South
yeah.
Florida. You're much better off just experiencing
Florida of all
the time
places.
and then leaving and then coming back with the money at
Because
best.
unless you can afford basically a luxury apartment where they're gonna like wipe your ass and like do your laundry and whatever the fuck for you, like
Yes, please.
you're not getting any
Number
amenities
one.
that you're supposedly paying for. Like you are the pest control, you are the maintenance guy, like you are doing all that shit. Like
God damn.
but also, where's your rent? Are you paying your rent on time? That's a
This,
$50
Yeah,
fee. Like,
this is
well,
Bushwick. This is Bushwick
ask
living,
the rat for the
100%.
$50 fee. They might be able to collect some quarters for you and whatnot.
what?
But they
Yeah.
do need that. They need the rent.
No laundry in unit. No
No.
laundry in the building.
Yo, dude,
Nope.
Get fucked. You.
see. I remember the first time I did laundry in an apartment unit laundry stuff, and never again. Never fucking again. I passed out there and then I woke up and I was like, I feel like somebody was looking at me or something. I don't
You
like
passed out
this.
in the laundry room?
Yeah, well, it's like I wasn't gonna like put it in there and go
Why'd
up to
you
my
sit there
room,
with all those chemicals, brother?
bro.
That
Because
sounds
I
terrible.
listen. I lived. I mean, it's good that we've moved on from the making it show. Because like in the first apartment where I moved out, like when me and my girlfriend were living, there was a pregnant lady next door that was smoking that would just have like the most weird like. Dude, she was like weird. Like at some point, we woke up to like cigarettes in the walls because like
Did you live in a David Lynch movie? Like, what is this?
it was fucking weird as shit, bro. It's like it was like one of those things where it's like the walls were like done in this weird cement way that you could like stick stuff in the walls, right? It's like somebody was like Art Deco or
Right.
something, and then this
Yeah.
lady just like put in fucking cigarettes in the walls, and then I think she got evicted or some shit, and then we woke up one day to like a random message that's barely written. I was like, it's kind of fucked up.
Like in the wall? Like V for Vendetta style? She
Yeah.
passed you a note?
Yeah, like fuck
What did
you.
it say?
I don't even
Oh.
fucking remember. It was in French. I really don't. I was like, I don't understand.
Wait,
This
so
is
you
Chris.
had a French pregnant bitch just like smoking, being pregnant, and then
Excuse me,
leaving you.
pregnant madam.
And then
Yeah,
messages?
madam.
I don't know. She just sounds like some sort of creature to
Yo,
me.
dude,
You know,
she
like that's the
was
crazy way to go about life.
like, it was crazy,
I
and then
picture
like,
You
those
kill her
pink
baby.
dresses
That's why
all
I
the way
think
down to her
I can
toe.
use the B word with impunity in this situation because that's just bad parenting.
that's
To
well, I
borrow a
mean,
line.
it's all. I like all I was gonna say is just like I
Her
realized
French
what
ass should know
position.
better.
Like, ain't no way I'm leaving my laundry and my girlfriend's laundry unprotected in this building. You know.
Dude, I got all of mine and my son's fucking laundry stolen out
Yo,
of
what the?
out of
Excuse
my
me,
apartment complex laundry room. It was fun.
Yeah,
bro. What the
I remember
fuck?
this. I believe I remember this. Did this happen last year? Or this year?
Yeah, I think it was this year,
I
beginning of this
remember.
year.
How bad they
Yeah.
felt like being like opening it up, like damn, maybe there's some ass pizza or like babe in here, and it's just a bunch of fucking like children's clothes. They're like, ah,
Bro,
damn,
like, who in their right
Shit.
mind steals a baby sock, bro? What the
Bro, they
fuck?
stole all that shit, and then like half of it, they like rummaged through it, I guess, and then half of it ended up in the dumpster, like all stuck to the side of the dumpster and shit, with like
Oh,
trash goop on it. And I was just like, man, the dumpster can have them.
that's
damn,
so
dude,
unfortunate. So sorry.
bro. Yo, you
It's
need to get
whatever,
the,
man.
yo, you need to get the fuck out of New Mexico, bro. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
We should
bro.
change.
so rotten.
Bro,
I'm gonna pivot this convo into Blues Appreciation Day though, because
This
it
is
was
true.
great. It was great.
that was exciting as hell to watch, man. Like this last
Dude,
week, I was
it was
so pumped
crazy.
for you.
True.
Yo,
It was
just,
It was
crazy.
Yeah.
about
Thank
time.
you.
It was the reckoning.
yo, it meant it. I
Nah,
think
yeah.
it meant to Joven. I think was it Amu
Yeah.
Fa, and then, yo,
He
you're
kicked
almost
it
sold
off.
out.
He kicked it
Omen,
off,
Cat.
and then Cat copped something.
Oh,
This
this
other
is
guy named
true.
Winnie copped something.
Yep.
Yo, shit, let's go. Hell
You have
yeah.
what? One more
Dude.
left of
What'd you
available
say?
pieces. How many pieces
I
left?
have one left.
Bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
I have some idea of who you've been interfacing with, but the magic is working. The sigil do whatever you're doing is working, and it's amazing to see. I'm so happy. Like it couldn't make me happier. I'm just like Blues is
Oh, yeah.
almost sold out.
This
Are
is
you
true.
making news? Are you hiding your little blushing cheeks?
I have to, bro.
His
I have to
face is
hide
like,
my happiness. Um,
Why?
dude, it's crazy. I don't know what happened or what switched. Yeah, everything started coming to fruition all at one time. It's insane.
yeah, I think it just, you know how people say now is the time for building or some shit like that. I think it just, finally, the art collectors are coming back out. You know, they let the market crash, enter free fall. We get rid of, you know, those who are not wanted in the space and those who are not needed in the space.
Think so? I think it's more like,
some
damn,
of
bro,
it.
the amount of sharing and behind the scenes work that we
Well-
don't know about that our friends even do for us, right?
Well, yeah,
like
no,
that people we don't even know are like eyeballing is pretty crazy, and it's so out of our control and out of our eyes that like just gotta leave room for the universe to surprise you. But like, yeah, it's that times time, and like of course all the pieces sold out, like
Sweet.
very nearly. Like,
I mean,
holy shit. I mean, yeah.
like
Everyone's gonna have that moment in this group occur over and over and over and over and over again, and it is pretty wild. And there's overlap now between this group and a few other groups. I had a space just now that I was running, and it's running into the people. There are people in our group that are in the small group of surrealists in the super rare contingent that are all looking at those works now. There was a collector in that space that you jumped into, Anubis. Art Demort, who was in that last one, is a big fucking French collector on top of it. So like there are eyeballs that we don't know about that are, and this isn't just in my space. Imagine all the other spaces and all the other times where the work is talked.
Dude,
And
I was talking to this collector, that guy Winnie that I was talking about,
Yeah,
and he posted something like about buying my piece and like who I was and stuff like that, and like people were just going off. Like you could tell that they had past conversations about like making it and just my work in general. Like it was weird because I didn't even know people were looking at my shit, but that like it was circulating and I didn't know what was happening.
yeah,
But
no,
like so many people were familiar and it was a surprise.
isn't that
that's
crazy?
awesome.
It's not banana.
No, that's so awesome to hear.
And it was all
And I think
Dre, it was all the Pepe dudes.
Dude, you're a
the-
lunatic, bro.
Pepe is
Yeah.
good. Ray Pepe, shout out Ray
Yeah.
Pepe.
We're not gonna talk about the other group, but you have managed to integrate
Yo.
yourself in deep with
Yo,
these.
no. See, we're gonna have
I'm-
we're gonna have a
drunk.
separate space, like a completely separate
Other group.
space. Oh, listen. Oh, yo, they are. It's a group that shall not be named. They
I'm
were
not gonna talk
named.
about that.
Yeah,
Even
they were
talking
named.
it's cool. I don't need to
circling
know
the drain
about
of
it.
that discussion.
But I was just gonna say, like, the fact that we are operating in this internet space where people can like catch up to your story, and like now we have this show under our belt as a collective and a group effort. Like, it could be like a piece 2 months from now that catches someone's attention that makes them go and dig deeper into your work. So like, yeah, it's really hard to actually acknowledge and know who's looking at your stuff and how many
Absolutely.
eyes are on you until you actually see that catalyst moment spark off. So like that's awesome. Like that you got to kind of see that happening for your work and for making it through that.
Well, yeah, I mean, making it is fucking stacked. I will say this every time I can say it. Making it is fucking stacked.
It's
It's also
overpowered.
like, yeah, like it's like
Game
you don't
breaking.
know.
Game breaking.
It's true. It's game breaking, and also like it's essentially like you have the internal circulation of works, and then also the collectors are becoming comfortable to collect again. So it's now is a good time to be putting out work and working in general, because it's
Dude, today I
like
got to do some cool surrealist shit. I got to go. I got to close this. I have a making it meeting. I have to go to. I'm sorry that I can't hold on to the space. I got to do that shit today. It was really fun. I got to do that shit in front of a major collector too,
excuse
and
me.
super rare.
Yeah, it's like
I
we've
have to
got
meet with my sect
yeah,
real
it's like
quick.
my brothers are calling.
Cult that we all co-run.
I mean,
Y'all
like
can't see us right now, but we're all wearing black robes, black hooded robes.
suspects.
Yeah, I'm
And
wearing my
it is,
tefillin,
yeah.
my black.
I have a gong right behind me.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is facts.
Yeah.
Like Dre
Andre's
did.
stirring some sort of potion and like a witch's brew or something. He's
Yeah,
been
have
doing
some
that
sort of
the entire time since we
Yo,
started this
factoids.
conversation.
Like Dre
Some
started
of
us. Yeah, no,
thick
Dre started
melange.
us. Dre started us
Yeah,
with
no,
like
bro,
some
it's just
Kabbalah
made with a
magic.
cave I'm inside.
Hey yo.
I'm about to find out what that is, by the way. I'm going for the weekend. I'm gonna go hang out with my cousin. She's a fashion designer and artist also. I'm trying to get her into the game because she fits the vibe. So I'm gonna be trying to onboard her and convert her to crypto art. But she's just like we're gonna go on this trip. We're gonna go to her fiance's country house, which sounds like some fairy tale shit because it is. And she's just like, I'm bringing a book of surrealist games. I'm bringing my meditation gear, my magical gear. And she's like, we'll do some Kabbalah shit when we get over there. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Because that could mean literally anything. Like I could say that and you could just, whatever image comes up. And I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, you're going to find out. And I'm like, what?
It's like yo,
What does
you're
that mean?
listen. You're about to level up in rabbi levels, brother. You're about
Maybe.
to ascend.
Yo, straight up, my ideal fit is honestly still, we talked about it earlier, but the Orthodox rabbi fit, but just made contemporary without the side tassels. It's not hard. Black sports coat, white shirt, black pants.
I've just been seeing this shit. It's nothing new. It's every day for Dre.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Just
That's my magical outfit.
I wish I could rock that fit, dude.
Dude, I don't know how they do it, but it's beautiful when it's done well. You're just like, oh shit, like it's about to go off, and it's just a bunch of Haziks walking in a line. I don't know. It's just funny to me. They're like the weird cousins. Within Judaism, like I'm a Reformed Jew. So like for Larry David, like Urban Enthusiasm, he has a whole episode on it where like we have our own like urban legends about the Hasids because they're super conservative. So like one of the urban legends is that they have to have sex through a sheet. Like that's the only way that they have sex. And in the episode, this Hasidic woman is flirting with Larry, and he's just like, he gets a free pass from his wife at the time of the season to go and hook up with anyone. And he chooses the Hasidic woman that does his dry cleaning because she's just coming on to him super hard, just kind of cute. And he eventually asks her, he's just like, so I brought this sheet with a hole in it. She was like, what the fuck is that for? It's like, it's not how you do it. He's like, no, it's not. Get in here. It's good. It's weird that they're weird people. They're very strange people.
Yeah,
Half of them are BDSM freaks, apparently.
You need to chronicle your discoveries this next tweet.
I'm not discovering shit, dude. Vice discovered everything. They're all really, 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 like, you know, they're all trapped, and the men are just as trapped as the women, so they turn to BDSM, and so most of the dominatrixes.
Wait, what?
That's in
So
every
making it.
any religion that suppresses sex is going to breed everyone who is into some kinky, weird, shame,
It's true.
BDSM shit. Not
This is
weird, I
true.
shouldn't say that,
every
but
time.
they are going to be into fetishes. Like, they're gonna have a
Yep.
fetish for sure.
They're gonna want
All
to get
have-
peed on. They're gonna want to get pooed on.
Oh, hey, yo, hey.
They're gonna want their
Wait,
rusty trombones.
you do or don't?
They're gonna want their dirty Sanchez.
Oh, okay. Wait. So, guys, the ideal making it show, I'm thinking if it's gonna be in Miami, like
Gonna
we
have
should
a
get like
dirty
one of those
Sanchez in it.
inflatable, like some inflatable thing out in the water that we can project onto, where we can just watch our art from the sand in the
Yo.
beach. Wouldn't that be
Basil?
cool? Or maybe like 2 drones holding a giant canvas thing that we can project onto. Like if we had unlimited money, wouldn't that be awesome?
Close to
Or
the
maybe
time.
like I'm just trying to change the topic, guys. What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, if we
What to
had
do,
unlimited
Basil?
See,
if
well,
we had
welcome.
unlimited money, I think we could do some projection mapping shit, especially with people who do like the 3D animated works, you know, obviously that makes the most sense. I think we could do I remember you had brought up that hotel and you know, you were talking about doing separate rooms, so that would make sense having like everything be
Brought that up with multiple. We lost Blues, but I brought that up.
probably
I
his
brought
phone
that up
probably
with
died.
multiple groups, and Mocha's already said if you plot that out ahead of time and you have it all plotted out for us, like we can maybe figure something out. But like there's multiple groups. There's Cat Russell runs an entire. No, he doesn't run it. Spokesperson for a whole platform. Dove was running in with Known Origin for a minute. It's just like it's a question of how much is it, knowing ahead of time, and knowing what the costs are of, you know, potentially renting out an entire hotel for that week, and then and aligning that, and you know like and knowing what the vision is, and the vision's pretty clear. Hotel rooms, artists are in there, artwork is in there, on screens, on work projected, however, and there's a set amount of rooms. It's an exhibition, and then there's a area downstairs where people can hang out and drink and party and talk shit, and potentially just be able to do something like that. There are a few hotels I can think of off the top of my head. I know at least one where that's possible to do, the Gold Dust, but that's further away from the actual event grounds, and I feel like maybe having a place nearest to the event grounds might make the most sense. But we can talk about that another time, because it's getting late over here. It's 12:30 for me, so I'm actually gonna have to bounce pretty soon.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're probably gonna wrap it up here. I mean, this was a pretty fun conversation. I know it's subtle. Subtle was like sitting here like confused, like, "Yo, what the fuck? Why are we talking about these random
What have we
things?"
been talking about with your
Yeah.
dirty
No,
sense?
it was
No,
just
it's-
the whole media.
You know, it's-
shit. I was like, guys, maybe we need to bring
Yeah, no,
it back
it's-
to making
this is-
it.
Bro, we
That's
were
fine,
talking seriously too long.
This
long.
is
Oh,
the nature of how our artist talks usually go, where it's like,
No, that's real.
I-
That's very
I also
real.
I also tell to those listening, listen, if you were in an artist studio, this is literally how this conversation would have gone.
Of course,
with an
you get
artist.
these little of actual art discussion, and
Absolutely.
then it's all the way up and all the way down.
Have you seen the meme where it's like a diagram, like a pie diagram, where it's like 20% art, like 80% like talking to friends? Like that's sort of life studio sometimes.
I have it. Is that exist? We should make that meme. I think it's pretty valid.
It is very valid. I think Jerry Saltz shared it on Twitter one time. I was like, "Yo, okay."
Oh,
All
fuck,
right.
man! I love Jerry. Some people don't like Jerry, but I do like Jerry. I think his book is great. It's in the reading list.
I have a theory that
Bottom.
Professor.
That's blocked.
You haven't blocked. You have Professor. You
Yeah.
have Jerry Saltz. Why?
Yeah, he kind of like so he released a NFT project or like an NFT piece that was kind of spoofing kind of progression of what Beeple did with the everydays, but it was all his own Instagram posts, which is mostly other people's art and other people's stuff. And I just made a comment like, you know, this is the kind of work that reminds me of the vapid nature that is traditional art. And so he kind of like responded and beefed a little bit with me, and I was like, you know what, Jerry, I don't need this, so I just blocked him.
You
Hey,
beat.
Jerry,
I
I'll be.
don't think it
I think
probably
valid.
already faded from his memory and everything, but everyone has opinions. But
Not
I'm
Jerry.
cool on that. I'm really
Jerry is a
cool on
little
that.
bitch. I will be real with you, and it's true. I've seen his brand of shit postery, and it is
Yo, it's just
super catty. Like I'm surprised. I don't know. He's just
I
so
Yeah,
like I have a
he
theory
can
that
be.
he's an art critic.
You think he's Jun?
no, see, I have a
You
theory
think
that I have a theory that he's Jun because
you
it's
think he's
like
Professor Jun?
I think so. I mean, I don't
No,
know. It's
Professor
like
June's like a 17-year-old kid.
I if
He
he's
already like
actually a
doxed
7,
himself.
did he actually?
No,
Bro,
you're. I
did he
think Jun
not?
is
No, that's
Jun
not
prof.
him. That
Am
Jun
I
is not Bruno.
yeah, no, he was just
am I
like
tripping?
yeah, no, he just
Professor June,
you
the
know
moon with
he
I
the
think
balloon
Bruno
eye.
took over for a day or
yeah
something.
he
Unless,
let the artist take over for a day.
Oh,
Yeah, he didn't
okay.
dox
but he's
I
left
himself.
fully
that pin
misunderstood that.
though.
I just see,
Yeah,
hi,
because
my
he
name is
left
Bruno. I'm a
the pin.
17-year-old, and I'm like,
It's possible that he is Bruno. It's very
Could
possible,
be.
but I doubt it
so
because he
you
works
think
with
Snoop
the.
Dogg is Medici?
Yeah, I
I
think Snoop Dogg is
we've
Ichi.
yo, I mean
Just like,
that to
I
me
bet
is
you.
far more digestible than an actual Medici member. Because like Dre, you've seen me rant about this. Like if this space is
Bro, have more
literally,
fun. That's all
I
I'm
mean,
trying to tell you.
yeah, like, but it's also like if this space is literally about the hand a Medici member the keys back to a glory, I'm like, ain't no fucking way. Y'all put a pirate as a pope. My art history ass
Man,
ain't never gonna forget
still
this.
taking this so hard thousands of years later.
Yo, it's kind of wild to me that just Italian family was like, yo, this pirate right here, make him pope, bro. And then everybody was like,
That's
yes.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's like shit, And then like yeah, they happen, like they happen to commission some of the greatest Renaissance pieces of all
well,
time. But I mean, listen, wag me, guys.
no,
We're in the Web
that
three
is
now.
true, but
I like them, bro. I don't take
that
them.
is
I don't. The Medicis are fine by me. I think they're real. I think they are very real.
Oh, the lineage
They
still
can buy a pizza
continues.
anytime they want.
I think,
Open
I
to
think
DM.
yeah, they
My
had
DMs are
this
open to them.
world.
Wait, so
Like, I
what
think
was
they
it?
guessed that the Medici family had access to, history's greatest artists, but who's to say that we can't be them? And like we don't have equal brilliance in the current time. I think like the important part of that is that there
Yo,
was such a
making it.
relationship between patron and artist in the sense that the patron was intentionally ordering like, hey, explore ideas of love or explore ideas of death and like giving intentional like substance behind their art. And I think that's something that we could do ourselves, like within, collective. But collectors nowadays aren't really about that. Like I wanted to tweet out some like shit post about like, hey, what if instead of feeding Dolly and Midjourney thousands of prompts, you just commission an artist to do one? Because like really, like if you're all like really obsessed about just feeding prompts, like feed an artist one, see
Well, I
what
mean,
happens.
I personally like why not do both? Because it's like I'm
It's
low
literally
key.
what
Ah,
Young Lean has said in an
a very
interview
good
before.
project idea, by the way. Is like
Okay.
taking mid-journey prompts and like actually just viewing them yourself, like giving them
Yeah,
to talented artists. Like
tweeted
I don't know the 4 others I see here, and going like, hey, I'm just gonna do like, yeah. What was the one that I heard? What I heard a really funny one today. It was Stephen Hawking laying hands on Jesus and healing him or some such bull. I heard it from I heard I heard it from Samuel Irish. Yeah, he's
Yo,
fucking
Oh,
dead,
he's
bro.
the best.
that would be
Sam's
fire.
insane.
That would
Sam's
be
insane.
fire.
Sam is so sweet.
Well,
He's so cool.
my thing
Dude,
with
Sam's
AI is like if you're using Midjourney, you're already not using the full thing, right? So it's like there's a differentiation, and it's also I think that I've told this to Dre. Like my theory is as more people start to move to digital and AI, like the ability to draw in person is going to become like an artisanal type thing, right? Where people are going to be like, "Yo, you know how to
Uh-huh.
draw in person? What?" Right? And so like I'm not worried. I
Yeah.
think AI is cool because like you really need to
Yeah.
be able to understand it and understand like model training to like actually push it beyond the single Mid-Journey prompt. And I'm gonna be honest, like I like Mid-Journey. I got huge love for the training Mid-Journey has, but that shit
Oh,
can get
100%.
boring pretty quickly. You know, everything becomes recognizable when Mid-Journey becomes the norm of AI, right? And so it's like because it's all
Right.
trained
I
the
used
same.
I used Midjourney
Yeah.
for one of my new pieces.
Yo, that shit looked like fire, bro.
Was it pans?
Midjourney, I used it like a fucking sigil maker, basically. Like
Yep.
That's,
it
Oh,
was,
sick.
it's
no,
insane.
I mean, there's so much value in it, and I'm not trying to dispel that. It's just that I think that, you know, artists are also they can do this stuff too. But like
Yeah.
I've seen people adapt it into their workflows where it's like really cool with like blues you using it in your piece, but also like Emotional will literally just prompt up his textures for his 3D models, which I think is just genius. Like
Mhm.
that there's a lot of practical uses for every artist, and I'm sure that it's going to become more of a part of people's workflow since it is just a tool. But yeah, my shtick with it is just the whole brain dead prompt feeding. But I mean,
Yo,
I'm not gonna get into it anymore.
Neon City sitting with cat in front of bowl of soup eating ramen in skylight.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fire. That's fire. Like I need that drawn as a 5-year-old's drawing. Like
It's
please.
true.
What a beautiful thing that you can take it and you could potentially like I just keep thinking like that's what I do in my head, you know? And to have a computer potentially give me a pathway because I work off of references a lot of the time.
It's
I have
true.
only a couple paintings where it's been wholly just my head. But like I work off of references to begin with and then after that riff as I go, right? Something will change inevitably as I move. And for me to have something like Midjourney or a Dolly to just be able to like I have this idea, what do I want this painting to look like? I want this to be Robert Johnson like the painting that I have, I was like wait, Robert Johnson with hands spontaneously growing fingers as he moves down the fretboard of his guitar, right? In a state of pure one single pointed focus. And it's like, okay, in the style of fucking, I don't know, Leonora Carrington or Remedios Vero. And then it throws it at me. I know what colors I need to use now. I know where the light is going to hit. It's already calculated the perfect composition. And then, yeah, I have that image. And the more imperfect it is, like more or less, the better it is for me, right? Because then there's more for me to interpret. And then I could just go hard in the painting. And that is pretty fucking crazy. The ones that make me smile are the Pokemon ones. Have you guys seen those?
Oh,
The
dude.
like make a Dolly Mid-Journey Pokemon monsters. I'm like, yes,
Yo,
that's
it's
what it's.
like it's actually such great painting fuel. Like it's the best painting fuel. If you're just sitting bored and you're like, man, I want to paint a figure that don't look like a fucking figure no more because I don't want to see fucking legs or I've painted too many legs, right? And it's just like I the way these AIs are trained, it's like they are actually great for ideation. Like I would say, like if Picasso was here, like he would shit on all of us because he would be like, "Yo, I don't need to learn how to draw like a kid anymore. Here is like, well, he would probably learn that and then start to make childlike prompts on AI. But it's like he would get fucking he would go crazy with something like this, right? And so it's
For sure.
I'm excited for this technology because like now I don't have to scroll that much on Pinterest to find that one image that I want to draw for a study to then later use for reference when I got the AI to do it.
Yeah. And I also I like what you were saying too, and I find it to be pretty valuable for like we were kind of talking about this in the last like making it space where I was like human beings just have this fault of like it's survival instinct that's kind of like unnecessary at this point of like pattern recognition and like seeing people's faces like face and everything. Like I hate that like when I sit down to draw I'm like, all right, I'm going to do something different, and then I'm like eyes and like a nose like, and what if I, and I'm like, this is the same thing. Like I do a lot of like the same like half portrait up, like don't do the full body, like they're all like looking off to a same direction, and I catch myself finding these comfortabilities that I'm using as a crutch, and I'm like, if I were to look at all my work and it all had the same like what would you call it? Like the same layout, that just
Yeah.
freaks me the fuck out. Like I am a robot.
That
Like what the fuck it feels like.
I
So I
envy the
appreciate
artists
having
that
that.
go, yes, that's what I do. I envy that so
Yeah.
much. Of like, yeah, I envy people like that are true geniuses that manage to do this in a masterful way. Like Henrik Dahlen comes to mind. And then there's this incredible artist that does these pinup, these beautiful kind of not pinups. I forget the guy's name, but I'll remember later. But it's this idea. It's like that's what like Henrik Dahlen, for example, is like the figure or the portrait, um, turning into this kind of like smoky yet thick texture, or like that
It's
same weird kind of like ghostly portrait being burnt on fire, and just being able to
Yeah.
that's
just
to
like
me.
constantly be like, I'm cool with playing around and seeing what happens and using this as subject matter constantly.
What
And I just don't have that bone in my body because I feel like I need to I need to surprise myself with every piece once it's finished, like the satisfaction of the finishing and being like, damn, like how crazy this was to get here, and like how much I had to challenge myself to be in this spot of having this thing finished, I think is probably not good as like an artist, because it's like it'll keep you from actually working a lot of the time. But I just feel like, yeah, I feel like I like the idea of every work being a bit more challenging or a bit more experimental and not necessarily repeating a motif on
this
purpose,
is true.
in a
Yeah.
piece.
This is true.
But I would also add to that and say that most, I mean, speaking from experience and just, this is an assumption, but most are in their art, as in like we are in the midst of it, quite well as someone from the outside. And like, Andre, like I understand the sentiment, but like I can pick up on Andre motifs and themes because at this point I've seen a lot of your work. And same with
Yeah.
like blues, and I'm sure you guys can see it like with me. Like I like a lot of our art is what we put in as much as what we don't include. So like, we can't get away from showing ourselves in our work. And
Absolutely.
and Andres,
yeah.
like you say, but you're erotic art master. So like,
Yo, listen.
No,
wait.
I get what you're saying. No, I don't mean the motif. I think it's more like sorry, my girlfriend stopped me from yelling because her door's open. What I'm saying more is like with a composition or with something like you know when you're riffing off of an idea that you've already riffed off of, right? Like everyone has their period. Like I had my period where it was a spaceman for like a minute. I don't show those paintings. Or like I had a period where it was all abandoned buildings and that's it, right? And it's like there's a certain point where like I think especially in art school this happens where you get lucky enough to have a teacher to come by and just be like, I think this symbolism is done, right? Or it's like I think you've done enough of this and not reworked. I think you've worked all the way through it. But yeah, I think we all like challenging ourselves quite a bit, at least in terms of like doing something that's exciting for us, right? It's like fighting the desire to do the like when you get into your sketchbook without any sources, right? Like doing just a face or doing like a head or doing like a portrait or doing whatever.
I mean,
And I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, you could also.
That's what I'm saying.
You could just like my favorite thing is you can snowball your thing, right? Train your own train your own AI on your own paintings, and you can get some wild shit too, right? And so,
oh my god, that sounds crazy.
The well is endless when it comes to this thing. We haven't even had AI that touched 3-dimensionality yet, let alone us artists who fully want to experiment with it. So we can only see what the future holds. But thank you, friends, for coming. This was a great conversation. We've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. And I know Dre said he had to go
to go to sleep.
Yeah, Dre said he needs to go 20 minutes ago, and then we kept him here. And Blues is already in fucking bed. Like,
dude.
Yeah, no, people, for those who can't see, it's like Blues has been napping like on video for the last like 20 minutes. Men's is in bed, tucked in. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for coming. I have included all your links in the description below. It's a pretty long description to those listening, but go click on every fucking link in there, hit the follow Twitter button, and go buy the art, or I'm gonna steal your seed phrases. Thank you very much. And
check out Making It 247.
This is
Agreed.
true.
Check out Making It 247. Good night,
Yes.
everyone.
Have a good one,
night,
everybody.
Keep well. Ciao.
Bye.